The title of our presentation is The Data Analysis of Gum Flavor Length. Our research group included Chris Davis, Mary Toth, and Jennifer Drombetta. The following presentation will evaluate how long flavor lasts in the following three brands of gum: Wrigley, Stride, and Five. From this information, Vending Machine International can decide which brand to stock based on which one has the shortest length of flavor. Vending Machine International has been experiencing a decrease in sales over recent years. They've just switched to stocking Wrigley brand gum in their machines. They also suspect that there may be a correlation between stocking of the new brand and the decrease in revenue. They also suspect that the flavor may be lasting too long, which would cause customers to not buy as much gum. A study needs to be conducted to see if the length of flavor that Wrigley brand gum is too long and if a new brand does need, in fact, to be stocked. If the problem is put aside, then Vending Machine International could suffer further financial losses and possible bankruptcy. If the problem is solved, they could return to their original profits and possibly exceed beyond what they were making. This presentation will not compare any other brands and will not address the cost, packing, and taste of the gum. Gum has been the favorite candy for many people over the history of time. Gum has been made out of tree resin and wax, and now is made out of a synthetic rubber that is similar to the inside of tires. Companies have also developed techniques to allow gum to be chewed longer. Such techniques as blocking oxygen molecules that reside in your mouth for longer chewing sessions and more intense flavor. Gum usually also breaks apart after a period of time when you're chewing it, and companies have increased the time that when gum was first introduced at 10 to 12 minutes when it would break apart to 20 to 35 minute chewing sessions. Advertising also plays a big part when it comes to gum companies. Everyone says that their flavor lasts the longest. Stride's actual campaign is ridiculously long-lasting flavor. The length of time that the flavor lasts, though, is very opinion-based. Our taste buds first gets the burst of flavor, and then our brain gets used to that flavor and does not perceive it to be as strong. With all these claims and accusations, who is to know who has the longest lasting flavor? Vending Machine International needs to conduct a study to find out the truth.
The procedure we used was as follows. First, we chose 3 brands of spearmint non-sugar-free gum: Wrigley's, Five, and Stride. Each tester bought 1 pack of each brand and performed 7 trials per brand, testing for the gum's ability to lose flavor. We recorded the time that the gum loses its initial burst of flavor. We waited 5 minutes between each piece, or until the flavor from the previous piece was gone, so that it wouldn't interfere with the next piece's results. Then we put the results into Microsoft Excel to calculate the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and the Pearson's index. Next, we graphed the data in 3 histograms to show the symmetry of the data. The first brand we tested was Wrigley's. The mean is 65.6 seconds, the median is 65, and there is no mode because one value wasn't repeated more than any other value. The standard deviation is 6.6 and the Pearson's index is 0.28, which means that the data are skewed insignificantly to the right. The first standard deviation interval is 59 to 72.2, with 62% of the data in this range. The second standard deviation interval is 52.4 to 78.8, with all of the data in this range. The next brand we examined is Stride. The mean is 43.2 seconds, the median 43, there is no mode, and the standard deviation is 5.1. The Pearson's index is 0.11, which means that the data are skewed insignificantly to the right. The first standard deviation interval is 38.1 to 48.3, with 71% of the data in this range. The second standard deviation interval is 33 to 53.4, with all of the data in this range. The next brand we examined is 5. The mean is 28.7 seconds, the median is 28, there is no mode, and the standard deviation is 6.5. The Pearson's index is 0.33, meaning that the data are skewed insignificantly to the right. The first standard deviation interval is 22.2 to 35.2, with 71% of the data in this range. The second standard deviation interval is 15.7 to 41.7, with 95% of the data in this range.
After all the calculations were made, we did an overall interpretation based on objective observations of our data. The Pearson Index showed that all of our data sets were insignificantly skewed right. The Wrigley's had the largest mean and median, while 5 had the smallest. Stride had the smallest standard deviation with 5.1 seconds. 5 was next with 6.5 seconds, and Wrigley's had the largest with 6.6 seconds. Both Stride and 5 had 71% of their data within one standard deviation, while Wrigley's only had 62%. Both Wrigley's and Stride had 100% of their data in 2 standard deviations, while 5 only had 95%. Next, we assess the data by making subjective conclusions. The table shown has all the data that was calculated in the experiment. 5 had the lowest mean with 28.7 seconds, followed by Stride with 43.2 seconds. Wrigley's had the highest with 65.6 seconds. 5 also had the lowest median with 28 seconds, again followed by Stride with 43 seconds, and again followed by Wrigley's with 65 seconds. All 3 sets of data had no mode. This tells us that Wrigley's had the longest lasting flavor, and the flavor of 5 gum lasted the least longest. Stride had the lowest standard deviation, followed by 5, then followed by Wrigley's, so the data for Stride was the most consistent. 5 was the only gum to not have all its data fall within 2 standard deviations, so this means that that set of data had the widest range. The Pearson's index for Stride was 0.11, which was the lowest. It was followed by Wrigley's with 0.28, and 5 had the highest with 0.33. This means that all 3 sets of data were insignificantly skewed right, which means that all of our data was almost symmetrical. Vending Machine International hasn't been doing well with its gum sales lately, so to get sales up, it wants to try stocking the gum whose flavor lasts the shortest amount of time. That way, customers will have to come back and buy more packs of gum. 5 gum had the lowest mean and median, which means the flavor didn't last as long as Wrigley's or Stride. So 5 gum is recommended for Vending Machine International to stock in its machines. If the company does this, it is hoped that they will sell more gum.